Welcome into Steelers Talk Yinzers. My name is Jack Sperry. Today we are going to be talking about Mel Kiper Jr.'s latest two-round NFL mock draft and who he has the Steelers taking in both round one and round two. He's got some pretty head-scratching picks. I'm going to be breaking them down here in just a second, let you know my thoughts. But first, go ahead and share this video on Twitter. Tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we are going to be having the Steelers Talk live show. If you want a special shout out on tomorrow's live show, you got to share this video on Twitter. So here's how you do that. You click the share button here on YouTube, and then you select the Twitter icon, and then click post to Twitter, and then you have to tag me so I know that you're doing this, so I know that you're sharing this video. You got to go at Jack_Sperry. If you do that, I will retweet you on Twitter, and then the first 10 people to share this video are going to get a special shout out on tomorrow's Steelers Talk live show. Again, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Chugs and I will be breaking down all the latest Steelers news and rumors. We got a Steelers mock draft tomorrow. You guys are going to want to tune in. It's going to be a fun time. So like I said, share this video for a retweet, and then also get a chance to get a special shout out on tomorrow's show. Now let's go over some notable picks from Mel Kiper Jr.'s latest mock draft before the Steelers pick at 17th overall in the first round. So Darnell Wright, first tackle off the board to the Chicago Bears at number 9. A bit of a surprise there. Then you got Peter Skoronski, another tackle coming off the board there at number 10 to the Eagles. Broderick Jones, my personal favorite offensive tackle prospect for the Steelers to target this year, goes to the Jets at number 13. Then you got Christian Gonzalez, one of the better cornerbacks in this year's draft class, going number 14. And then Joey Porter Jr., a fan favorite among many Steelers fans, going to the Commanders. One pick before the Steelers there at number 16. So here are some players that are on the board for Mel to choose from. Okay, so you got Paris Johnson Jr., offensive tackle, still on the board. You got Jordan Addison, a fantastic wide receiver prospect that already has great chemistry with the Steelers quarterback, Kenny Pickett. Then you also have Deonte Banks, one of my favorite cornerback prospects in this year's NFL draft class, who's a perfect fit for Mike Tomlin's defense. Brian Branch, a Swiss Army knife type of a strong safety / nickel cornerback, can be a really solid player. And then Zay Flowers, someone that reminds me a little bit of Antonio Brown when he was coming out of college. It's a really, really special player. I think he's going to be a really good player in the National Football League. So let me know in the comments section, which player would you take? Okay, you choose. You are the GM, and you're in this spot. And Omar Khan looks to you and says, pick one of these guys. Which guy are you taking? Type PJ for Paris Johnson Jr., type JA for Jordan Addison, DB for Deonte Banks, BB for Brian Branch, or ZF for Zay Flowers. This will be the pinned comment on today's show. So whenever you get an ad break here on the show, just take advantage of that time by going down to the comment section, finding that pinned comment, and answering today's question. And with the first round pick for the Steelers, Mel Kiper Jr. has the Steelers taking wide receiver out of Boston College, Zay Flowers. Now, this is definitely a shock, especially because one of the top offensive tackle prospects is still on the board in Paris Johnson Jr. But like I've said before, guys, Zay Flowers is a really good wide receiver prospect. You take a look at his production at Boston College over the last 12 years. In my opinion, guys, I think that when you look at Zay Flowers on film, it looks like that he's on skates and everybody else is running. This guy is an incredibly smooth athlete. He had a great 40 time at the combine, 12 touchdowns last year for Boston College, over 1,000 yards receiving as well. This guy is the real deal. He will be a first-round pick, in my opinion. And if I would have to predict, I think he's going to become like a Stephon Diggs type of wide receiver one, kind of a smaller guy, but someone that really does deserve to be called a true wide receiver one in the National Football League. But I think that this one's a head scratcher for Mel Kiper Jr. when it comes to the Steelers. I love Zay Flowers. I think that he's going to be a great wide receiver in this league. And at the end of the day, if you get a good player in the first round, that's good. But when you have Paris Johnson Jr. and Deonte Banks, two excellent prospects at positions of high need right now, if you are the Steelers, I just don't think that's appropriate. I don't think that's okay. I don't think that's a good pick. I think that you got to go Paris Johnson Jr. here. Zay Flowers is a fantastic player, man. I mean, he's going to be a great receiver for you a long time. He's probably going to be your starting slot receiver for you if the Steelers make this move. But to me, this is a head-scratching move. You can get a bigger slot receiver later in the draft. So although I love Zay Flowers, I don't love the pick here from Mel Kiper Jr. We're going to be breaking down the rest of his mock draft for the Steelers in just a second. But first, check out these awesome Steelers draft hats. These are the official NFL draft hats for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. And if you ask me, guys, I think this year's design is awesome. You got that stone color with the gold lettering, with the logo in the middle. We got a bunch of different curve bills. You know, we got flat bills. We got snapback style. Personally, I really like this black and gold style. I'm probably going to get one of these for myself here. I think I'm going to get that here this week. And I just think that it's a great design. I think that everything about this year's hats is fantastic. If you want to get one of these hats and wear the same headgear as the 2023 draft class for your Pittsburgh Steelers, you can get them right now on the Chat Sports website. Go to chatsports.com/Steelers draft hat to get your Steelers draft hat today. All right, now in round 2, Kiper has the Steelers taking offensive tackle here, Anton Harrison, out of Oklahoma at the top of day 2. And this one to me is another head-scratching move, man. You had Paris Johnson Jr. right in front of your face in round 1. You decide to pass on him, and then you go get a guy that's more suited for a zone scheme in Anton Harrison. You take a look at his stats last year with the Oklahoma Sooners. Only 1 sack allowed, 8 hurries allowed, and then a PFF run grade of 67.7. He's not really a mauler in the run game. He's got some pretty decent size, but he just doesn't have that nastiness that the Pittsburgh Steelers are looking for right now. I think he's probably a first-round prospect, probably going to go to a zone-heavy team, in my opinion. And he's definitely a first-round guy. Like, don't get me wrong. This guy might end up going in front of Broderick Jones. Like, I think the Jets would much rather have a guy like Anton Harrison, who's a little bit more refined in his pass-protecting sets, and he's a zone guy. And, of course, the Jets run a zone scheme there in New York. I think he might be a better fit for their scheme than Broderick Jones. But when it comes to the Steelers, like, the Steelers are trying to transition to more of a power run game, and this is somebody that I just don't think fits that mold. Now, I think that he's a really good player. All right, he's got the size at 6'4", 315 pounds. He's got good length. He's got good balance and hand placement in his pass protection sets. I think he's maybe the best pass protector in this year's draft class, if I'm being completely frank with you. He's probably the most NFL ready from that perspective. But the thing is, guys, he's just not a power blocker. He doesn't play with great pad level. He doesn't have great power. He doesn't really use his legs in the run game. And then his stunt recognition is also something to be concerned about. To me, he's more of a zone blocking type of guy. I think that he will go in the first round, but I just don't think to the Steelers is where he's going to end up. I think the Steelers would rather get somebody that's more of a bruiser, somebody that can come in right away and play with guys like Nate Herbig and Isaac Seumalo and Chukwuma Okorafor. Those guys can really move people off the line of scrimmage. And when you run a power run scheme, guys, you need players with strong lower bodies that can move defenders off the spot. Dan Moore Jr. is there right now. It seems like the Steelers are kind of comfortable with sticking with him if they can't get one of their top offensive tackle prospects. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section right now. Do the Steelers need to draft a starting left tackle or offensive tackle in general in this year's NFL draft class? Type yes or type no. Let me know in the comment section. Do the Steelers need that offensive tackle in this year's draft? Then with the second round pick here, Mel Kiper Jr. has the Steelers taking Kansas State cornerback Julius Brents with the 49th overall pick. And to be honest with you guys, this is the only pick in this mock draft that I actually agree with. Julius Brents is a fantastic fit for what Mike Tomlin wants to do with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Take a look at his stats with the Kansas State Wildcats last year. Really, really good, man. I think that this guy has the length that you look for. I think that he's got the ball skills you look for. You see that with the 4 interceptions and 4 pass breakups last year. I think that this guy is a really, really talented player, and I think that he's got the attributes that you look for. He ran a better 40 time than was expected at the NFL Combine, and because of that, he went from like an early day 3 prospect to somebody that's going to be possibly an early day 2 prospect, and he certainly deserves that. 6'4", 202 pounds, man. This guy's got long arms, long limbs. He's a decent tackler in the run game. I think he's a really, really solid round 2 cornerback prospect. And if he's available there at number 49, I would really, really look for Mike Tomlin to pull the trigger there. If they haven't already taken a corner by their pick at number 49, I would expect Julius Brents to be a great candidate for them there in the second round. You take a look at Mel's complete mock draft here after 2 rounds. Zay Flowers in the first round. Then you get your tackle with Anton Harrison. And then you get get Julius Brents to potentially be your cornerback 1 for the future. So let me know right now what you think about this mock draft. Grade it for me in the comment section. A, B, C, D, or F. Can't wait to see what you guys have to say about this in the comment section. But first, I'm going to grade this here. I'm going to give this, man, I have to give this like a C- or a D+. Like, this is just not a good mock draft, man. Like, you're getting some pretty decent players. Zay Flowers is going to be a good player for you for a while. But, like, the fits, I just don't think that Mel Kiper Jr. really understands what the Steelers need right now, because he's prioritizing wide receiver when you don't really need a wide receiver right now. You're not trading down to get one. You're passing up cornerback and offensive tackle prospects in order to get a wide receiver. And I just don't agree with the Anton Harrison fit for the Steelers there. I do like the Julius Brents pick, so that's what keeps this from being a straight-up F. But overall, I just don't love this mock draft for the Steelers from Mel Kiper Jr. And speaking of Mel Kiper Jr., I just have to roast this mock draft a little bit, because some of these picks, they're just like, what the hell are you thinking, man? What are you smoking, Mel? Like, seriously, look at some of these picks here. Nolan Smith is the second edge rusher off the board before Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech at number 8 to the Atlanta Falcons. That's not happening. Tyree Wilson's probably going to be a top 5 pick. At the very latest, probably Detroit at number 6. He's not getting to number 11 like he has him going to in this mock draft. Then you got Darnell Wright, the number 1 offensive tackle, going off the board. That's just not going to happen. Plain and simple. You got Paris Johnson Jr., Peter Skoronski, and Broderick Jones. Those are the consensus top 3 guys in this year's NFL draft class. I would be shocked if Darnell Wright is that first guy off the board. That's a huge head scratcher to me. And then Paris Johnson Jr. falling all the way to number 19. That's my number 1 overall offensive tackle in this year's draft class. I just think that's a terrible take from Mel Kiper Jr., especially because he gets past the Steelers. I just don't think that ever happens. Then you got Emmanuel Forbes going to the Vikings. Now, he's a first-round guy. Emmanuel Forbes is a first-round guy, but to the Vikings that are going to be running that Brian Flores press-heavy system with Emmanuel Forbes that's like 165 pounds, really? You really going to think he's going to survive in that press system? No way. I just don't think that Mel Kiper Jr. understands the effect of having that, being that size in a press man heavy system. And then you got DJ Turner, cornerback from Michigan. I mean, he absolutely blew up the combine. I mean, he's athletic as hell. He can run real fast, 4.2 speed. But in the first round, he just doesn't have the talent for that. His stop-start ability is just not there. He's gonna lose some people, some of these great route runners in the National Football League. In my opinion, he's a late round 2 or early round 3 guy. I think the Giants would be fools to take DJ Turner that high at number 25 overall. And because of this, guys, I think someone needs to check on Mel, man. This guy is going nuts. Like, some of these picks that he makes just make absolutely no sense to me, whether it be people going to wrong scheme fits, whether it means someone completely neglecting a huge team need. There's a bunch of stuff in this mock draft, and it gets worse in round 2, by the way. I just listed the weird picks in round 1. There's a ton of weird picks in round 2 as well. I just don't think Mel Kiper Jr. has it anymore, guys. I think this was a really bad mock draft from the godfather of NFL draft media. But that's going to do it for today's show. I just had to get that little rant out real quick. I appreciate everybody in Steeler Nation. I'll see you guys for Steelers Talk Live tomorrow, again, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you know every time we put out a new video. I appreciate you, Steeler Nation. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.